If you want to see our previous videos or all videos, then click the channel name or picture below the video, then go to the video or playlist option. This is Buri Critical Valmiki Ramayana chapter 22. When night was over, Vishwamitra addressed Kukutsaya, who was lying down on a bed of leaves. Press the red subscribe option and press the bell icon for my latest video updates. O excellent son of Kaushalya, O Rama, it is dawn, O tiger among men, arise and perform rites for the gods. The two princes heard the words of the extremely generous Rishi. They bathed and performed ablutions in the water. Those two brave ones chanted supreme mantras, having performed their ablutions. Those two extremely valorous ones cheerfully bowed down before Vishwamitra, store in austerities, and made arrangements for departure. Those two extremely valorous ones departed and saw the sacred confluence of the Sarayu with the divine river that has three flows. The sacred hermitages of Phris and energetic rishis were there, those who had tormented themselves through supreme austerities for many thousand years. On seeing that sacred hermitage, the two descendants of Raghava were greatly delighted. They spoke these words to the great soul Vishwamitra, those sacred hermitage is this, and which man resides here? O illustrious one, we are overcome by great curiosity and wish to know this. On hearing these words, O bull among sages laughed. He said, O Rama, I will tell you whom this hermitage belonged to earlier. Listen, uh, Kandarpa used to have a body earlier. These learned ones also speak of him as Kama. Sthanu was controlled in his rituals and performed austerities here. Having married, the Lord of the Gods left accompanied by a large number of Maruts. At that time, the great souled one was afflicted by the one with evil intelligence and uttered the sound of Hamkara. Hunkara, O descendant of the Raghu lineage, all the limbs and body of that evil minded one were burned down and destroyed by Rudra's eyes. The great soul one scourged him and destroyed his body. Because of the great god rage, Kama was rendered without a body, O Raghava. That is the reason he come to be known as Ananga, the place where he released his handsome body come to be known as the land of Anga. His ancient hermitage came to be frequented by sages who were his disciples. Since they were supremely devoted to Dharma, there is no evil in this place. O Rama, O one who is auspicious to behold, we will spend the night here. Tomorrow we will again proceed along this sacred river. While they were conversing, the sages, who were far sighted because of their austerities, realized that they were there. They were greatly delighted and arrived happily. They offered Arghya and Padya to the guest, who was Kushika's son. After this, they also tended to Rama and Lakshmana as guests. Having been honored well, they cheerfully raced in Kamash Rama and delighted themselves in all kinds of conversation. Next chapter 23. When the morning sparkled, the two scourger of enemies performed their ablutions. Placing Vishwamitra at the forefront, they arrived at the banks of the river. All those great souled sages, rigged in their bows, also went there. They prepared an excellent boat and spoke to Vishwamitra, placing the princess in the front, ascended in boat without any delay, so that you can proceed along your path without any hindrances. Honoring those rishis, Vishwamitra agreed. Taking those two with him, he went to the river that was heading towards the ocean. When they were in the middle of the river, Rama asked the bull among sages, "What is this tumultuous sound that seemed to be shattering the waters?" Raghav's words were full of curiosity. On hearing them, the one with Dharma in his soul told him about the reason for the sound. O Rama, O tiger among men, in Mount Kailasha, Brahma created a lake through the powers of his mind, and that is the reason the lake is known as Manasa. The secret Sarayu originates from the lake created by Brahma. Emerging from that lake, it flows past Ayodhya. That tumultuous sound results when it unites with Jahnavi from the friction caused by the two flows of water. O Rama, control yourself and bow down. Those two were extremely devoted to Dharma and bowed down. At that time they approached the southern bank, and dexterous in their valor alighted. Those two supreme sons of the king saw a forest that was terrible in form. Having alighted, the descendant of the Ishwaku lineage asked the bull among sages about this. The forest is impenetrable and sounds with the sound of crickets. It is populated by ferocious predatory creatures, and the noise of horrible birds can be heard. There are many kinds of uh, predatory birds that shriek in fierce tones. It is populated by lions, tigers, wild boars, and elephants. It is full of dhaba, ashwa, uh, karna, kuhuba, bilva, tinduka, patala, and badari trees. What a terrible forest is this! The immensely energetic and great sage Vishwamitra replied, O son, O Kukutsa, listen to the sound. Why this forest is so terrible, O supreme among men. Earlier, this habitation used to be extremely prosperous. Two countries created by the gods named Malada and Karusha used to be there. In ancient times, the one with the 1,000 eyes killed Vitra, and the sin of having killed a Brahmana penetrated him. The gods and the rishis, stores of austerities, therefore bathed Indra. When they bathed him with pots of water, the field was released on the ground, the mock was released on the ground. When these were released from his body, the great Indra was delighted, cleansed of the filth and mock. Indra became pure. Greatly delighted, the Lord granted those two countries a supreme boon. Malada and Kurusha have borne the filth that was released from my body. Therefore, these two countries will be prosperous and will be famous in the world. When the justicer of Paka spoke in this way, the gods praised him. On seeing that the intelligent Sakra had honored the countries in this way, O destroyer of enemies, for a long time those two countries, Malada and Kurusha, were happy and prosperous places full of wealth and grain. After some time, a female Yaksha was born, and she could assume any form at will. She possessed the strength of 1,000 elephants. O fortunate one, her name is Tadka, and she is the intelligent Sundar's wife. Her son is the Rakshasa Maricha, who is like Shakra in his valor, or Raghava. The evil eating Tadka was instantly destroyed these two countries, Malada and Kurusha. She obstructs the path here and dwells half a yojana away. Using the strength of your arms, slay that evil acting one on my instructions. remove this region of its thorn. O Rama, uproot this terrible female Yaksha who is so difficult to withstand, so that she is incapable of destroying this region in this way. I have heard you everything about how this forest come to be terrible. The female Yaksha does not refrain and still continues to destroy everything. Next chapter, hearing the words of the immensely immeasurable sage, the tiger among men replied in auspicious words, O bull among sages, it has been heard that the Yakshas are limited in valor. How can this weak one bear the strength of 1,000 elephants? Vishwamitra spoke these words. Here, how she came to bear great strength. The weak one bears valor and strength become because of a boon that was bestowed on her. Earlier, there was a great and valiant Yaksha named Suketu. He was without offspring, therefore, he followed auspicious conduct and tormented himself through great austerities. O Rama, thus the grandfather was extremely pleased with that lord among Yakshas and bestowed a gem of a daughter on him. Her name was Tadka. The grandfather also bestowed the strength of 1,000 elephants on her. The immensely illustrious Brahma did not give that Yaksha a son. Having been born, she grew up and possessed beauty and youth. He bestowed the illustrious one on Sunda Jamba's son as a wife. After some time, the female Yaksha gave birth to a son. He was invincible and his name was Maricha. However, because of a curse, he became a Rakshasa or Rama when Sunda was slain by Agastya, the supreme Rishi Tadka, and her son wished to take revenge. He cursed Maricha that he would become a Rakshasa. In great rage, Agastya also cursed Tadaka, you will give up this form and assume a terrible form. O great Yaksha, you will become a man eater, you will become a deformer with a distorted visage. Thus cursed, Tadka became intolerant and senseless with anger. Agastya roamed around in this secret region and she started to destroy it. O Raghava, this female Yaksha is extremely terrible and wicked in conduct. She is evil in her valor for the welfare of cattle and Brahmanas. Slay her, O descendant of the Raghu lineage. She is so enveloped in the curse that in the three worlds no man except you is capable of standing up to her. O supreme among men, you should not be revolted at the protect of killing a woman, O son of a king. This is what must be done for the welfare of the four varnas. This is eternal dharma for someone who has been entrusted with the burden of a kingdom. O Kukutsa, slay the source of adharma. There is no dharma in her, O king. We have heard that in ancient times Shakra destroyed Manthara, Virochana's daughter, when she desired to devastate the earth. O Rama, Bhrigu's wife and Kavya's mother, was firm in her vows. However, when she desired to remove Indra from the worlds, Vishnu cursed her. O Prince, the great souled ones have performed many such tasks. Those supreme beings have slain women who were devoted to adharma. Next chapter 125. On hearing the sage's word, the son of the supreme man lost all despondency. Raghava, firm in his vows, joined his hand in salutation and replied, on my father's instruction to honor my father's words and to follow Koshika's words, I will dispel all doubt and undertake this task. In the midst of my superiors, my father, the great soul, Dasharatha, commanded me in Ayodhya, and his command cannot be disregarded. I have heard my father's word and the instruction of one who knows about the Brahman. Without a doubt, I will undertake the supreme task of killing Tadka for the welfare of cattle and Brahmanas, for the happiness of the country, and to follow your immeasurable words. I will engage myself in this task. Having said this, the destroyer of enemies grasped the middle of his bow with his fist. He twanged his bow and filled the direction with this terrible sound. Tarka, the resident of the forest, was terrified at this sound. Tarka was confounded by his sound but was also enraged, senseless with rage. The Rakshasi determined where that sound had come from. Having heard the sound, she swiftly dashed towards the direction from where it had emerged. Raghava saw that enraged one, malformed, distorted in visage and extremely gigantic in size, he spoke to Lakshmana. Behold, Lakshmana, this female Yaksha possesses a fierce and terrible body. On seeing her, the hearts of cowards will be shattered. Behold her, she is invincible and possesses the strength of Maya. I will now make her withdraw by severing her ear and the lip of her nose. Since she is protected by her nature of being a woman, I do not wish to kill her. It is my view that one should only destroy her valor and her speed. When Rama said this, Tarka became senseless with rage. Raising her arms, she roared and rushed towards Rama. She descended with great force and valor like a bolt of thunder. However, he pierced her body and she fell down dead. Her form was terrible on seeing that she had been slain. The Lord of the gods uttered words of praise. The gods worshipped Kukutsa, extremely delighted, and thousand-eyed Purandara spoke these words, extremely happy. All the gods also spoke to Vishwamitra, O sage, O Kaushika, O fortunate one. Indra, among all the large numbers of Maruts, are satisfied at this task. Display your affection towards Raghava. The sons of Prajapati and Krisharva have truth for their valor. They possess the strength of austerities, O Brahmana. Offer them to Raghava, O Brahmana. He is a worthy recipient and is steadfast in following you. It is your task. This son of a king will perform a great task for the gods. All the gods said this after worshipping Vishwamitra delighted. They returned to wherever they had come from. Evening had set in. The supreme among sages was happy and content at Tarka having been killed. He inhaled the fragrance of Rama's head and spoke these words, O Rama, O one with an auspicious face, we will spend the night here. Tomorrow, when it is morning, we will go to my hermitage. Next chapter, the immensely illustrious Vishwamitra spent the night there. He smiled at Raghava and spoke these sweet words, O fortunate one, O prince, O greatly illustrious one, I am satisfied with you. I am extremely delighted and will give you all the weapons. With these, you will be able to pacify, subjugate, and defeat large numbers of gods, asuras, gandharvas, serpents, and enemies. O fortunate one, I will bestow all those divine weapons on you. O Raghava, I will give you the extremely divine Danda Chakra. O brave one, I will give you Dharma Chakra and Kala Chakra. I will give you Vishnu's fierce Chakra and Indra's Chakra too. O best among men, I will give you the Vajra weapon and Shiva's supreme trident. O Raghava, I will give you the Brahmashira and Ashika weapons. O mighty armed one, I will give you Brahma's supreme weapon. O Kukutsa, I will give you both the Modaki and Shikhari clubs. O tiger among men, O son of a king, O Rama, I will give you the blazing weapons, Dharma's noose and that noose. I will give you the supreme weapon, that is Varuna's net. O descendant of the Raghu lineage, I will give you two Vajra weapons, on that dries up and one that waits. I will give you the Penaka weapon and the Narayana weapon. I will give you Agni's beloved weapon, the one that is named Shikhara. O Raghava, I will give you Vayu's weapon known as Prathama. I will give you the weapon Hayashira and the weapon Rocha. O Kukucha, I will give you two spears, Kapala and Kankana, and the terrible mace, Kankala. I will give you everything that the Asuras willed. I will give you the great weapon of the Vidyadharas named Nandana, O mighty armed one. O son of a supreme man, I will give you a jewel among swords. I will give the beloved weapon of the Gandharvas known by the name of Manava or Raghava. I will give you Prashvapana, Prashamana, Shaura, Darpana, Shoshana, Santapana, and Bilapana. I will give you Khandarpa's beloved and invincible weapon Mandana. I will give you the weapon loved by the Pisachas named Mohana, O tiger among men, O prince, O greatly illustrious one. Accept this, O tiger among men, O prince, O mighty armed one. There are Tamasa, the immensely strong Somana, Sambarta, the invincible Moshala, the weapon known as Satya, the supreme weapon that wield Maya, the terrible weapon named Teja Prabha that saps away the energy of others. Soma's weapon Shishira, Vastra's weapon Sudamana, Bhagas Daruna, and Manuj Shiteshu. O Rama, O mighty armed one, these are extremely strong and are capable of assuming any form at will. O prince, swiftly accept these extremely pervasive ones. Then the supreme among sages purified himself and stood facing the east. Extremely delighted, he gave Rama those supreme mantras. The intelligent sage Vishwamitra chanted the mantras, and all those extremely rewarded weapons presented themselves before Raghava. All of them joined their hands in salutation and joyfully addressed Rama, O greatly generous one, O Raghava. We are your servants. Kukutsa extended in hands and accepted them. He urged them, may you remain in my mind. Rama was delighted and worshipped the immensely energetic and great sage Vishwamitra. He got ready to leave. Next 27. Kukutsa purified himself. He accepted the weapons with a cheerful face, ready to go. He spoke to Vishwamitra, O illustrious one, I have accepted weapons that are difficult for even the gods to withstand. O bull among sages, I also wish to know about how these weapons can be countered. Thus addressed by Kukutsa, the great sage Vishwamitra, full of patience, excellent in his vows, and pure, instructed him about countering and withdrawing. O Raghava, O fortunate one, O Raghava, these radiant ones are known as Vrishabha's sons and can assume any form at will. You are worthy recipient, accept them. Satyavana, Satyakriti, Drishata, Savasha, the one named Prithatartha, Laksha, Alaksha, Bishama, Sonubha, Jyotisha, cheerful in his mind, Kukutsa accepted the pleasant and embodied form of those radiant and divine ones. Having manifested themselves before Rama, they joined their hands in salutation and addressed him in sweet voice, O tiger among men, we are here. Instruct us about what we can do for you. The descendant of the Raghu lineage replied, remain in my mind so that you can assist me when the opportune moment present itself. Till then, as you wish sleep, they agreed to what Kakusa had said. They circumambulated Rama and taking his leave, went away to wherever they had come from. Having got to know about them, as they proceed, Raghava addressed the great sage Vishwamitra in soft and gentle words. What is that located not far from the mountain? The clump of trees is as radiant as the cloud. I am supremely curious. It is beautiful and a sight to see. It is full of my kinds of animals. It is ornamented with birds that possess melodious tones. O best among sages, we have clearly emerged from the desolate forest that makes the body hair stand up. We are headed towards a region that is agreeable. O illustrious one, tell me everything. Whose hermitage is this? Is this the place where those wicked ones of evil conduct, the slayer of Brahmanas, come? Next chapter 28. When the immeasurable one asked about the group, the greatly energetic Vishwamitra started to explain, O Rama, earlier this used to be the hermitage of a great soul Bhamana. This was famous as Siddhashrama because the great ascetic obtained success here. At that time, King Bali, Virochana's son, conquered the large number of gods. With Indra and the arrays of Maruts, the famous one ruled over the kingdom of the three worlds. Bali performed a sacrifice with Agni at the forefront. The gods approached Vishnu himself in this hermitage. They said, O Vishnu, Bali, Virochana's son, is undertaking a supreme sacrifice. Our own sacrifice, which will accomplish all our tasks, is yet incomplete. Whichever supplicant arrives before him from whatever direction he may come, he gives all of them everything regardless of what they ask for. For the welfare of the gods, resort to your Maya and present yourself before him. O Vishnu, assume the form of a Vamana and perform this supremely beneficial act through your favors. This spot will assume the name of Siddhashrama. O Lord of the gods, O illustrious one, arise and accomplish this task. At this, the greatly energetic Vishnu generated himself through Aditi. He assumed the form of a dwarf and presented himself before Virochana's son. He asked for three days and respectfully received the gift, enraged in the welfare of all creatures, the soul of the worlds. Encompassed all the worlds, he controlled Bali's energy and again gave the three worlds back to the great Indra. The greatly energetic one again brought them under Shakra's subjugation. The hermitage was inhabited by him earlier in his Vamana form and is the destroyer of all exhaustion. Because of my devotion, I enjoy it now. O Rakshasas, the creators of obstruction, arrive at this hermitage. O tiger among men, this is where the ones of evil conduct will be killed by you, O Rama. We will now head for the supreme Siddhashrama, O son. This hermitage belongs to you just as it does to me. On seeing him, all the sages who were residents of Siddhashrama quickly presented themselves before Vishwamitra and worshipped him. As he deserved, they worshipped the intelligent Vishwamitra. They then performed the rites for the two princes who were the guests. The princes, the scourger of enemies, rested for a short while. The descendants of the Raghu lineage then joined their hands in salutation and addressed the bull among sages. O fortunate one, O bull among sages, please consecrate yourself today. Let the Siddhashrama bring about success and may your world come true. The immensely energetic and great sage Vishwamitra was addressed in this way. He controlled himself, controlled his senses, and concentrated himself, having slept in the night. When it was morning, the princes arose, they controlled themselves and worshipped Vishwamitra. Next chapter 29.